If you aren't happy with my lifestyle, then go ahead and walk out, she declared right before heading to the nightclub with her closest male buddy. And that's exactly what I did. I gathered all my belongings while she was out on the dance floor. When she returned around 3 in the morning, ready for an argument, she discovered bare closets and a simple message. You were correct. I don't approve of it. That's why I walked away. Hey everyone, before continuing with the rest, don't forget to subscribe and tap that like button if you're interested in more tales like this one. Appreciate it. Hey Reddit, using a burner account obviously. I'm posting this mainly because I really have to vent it all. It's been quite a roller coaster. Reflecting on it now, it feels like one of those tales you come across and doubt could ever be real. Yet it happened. To me personally. My name's Alex, 28 years old, a programmer who has always taken pride in being the reliable type, the guy who is dependable, handles the expenses, and works toward a solid tomorrow. And Sarah? She had been my partner for 3 years. At least, that's what I believed. We were creating that tomorrow together. We first crossed paths during university at a gathering hosted by a shared acquaintance. She was that energetic, sociable arts student whose laughter brightened the entire space. I was the reserved tech major sitting off to the side, sipping a drink carefully so it wouldn't spill on my computer. For some reason, we connected. She mentioned that I anchored her, provided a sense of security. I was completely smitten. Post-graduation, as she faced challenges landing consistent employment in her area, jumping from one freelance job to another or serving tables, I took charge. I secured a good position at a software company, and we settled into a comfortable flat in the urban area. I handled the bulk of the lease payments to allow her room to pursue her creative interests. Sketching, capturing photos, anything that caught her interest in a given moment. Initially, everything was wonderful. I'd return from extended programming shifts, and she'd prepared a meal, or we'd settle in for marathon viewing sessions snuggled together. Gradually, though, patterns changed. Sarah began venturing out more frequently, evenings with girlfriends that stretched into dawn. She'd arrive home carrying scents of cigarettes and inexpensive drinks, collapsing into sleep without saying anything. At the start, it didn't bother me. People require personal time. But soon, the unfavorable comparisons emerged. Why aren't you more relaxed like the people I know? She'd remark in the middle of disputes. You're far too routine. It hurt, but I let it slide. I cared deeply for her. I believed we were partners. Going back around half a year, there's one evening I recall clearly. I had just finished a marathon session debugging code for an important customer project. Drained, I arrived home to see her dressed up nicely, checking her messages. She said she planned to go out with a group, which included this fellow named Jake, her top male pal from her job. Jake worked as a mixologist at the restaurant where she served occasionally. He constantly shared topless workout pictures on social media, the type who loved being the center of focus. I had encountered him several times. He appeared innocent enough, but the way Sarah's face brightened discussing him gave me an uneasy feeling. On that particular evening, I proposed staying home. We hardly spent time together this week. I mentioned casually. How about getting takeout, viewing that film you've mentioned? She sighed dramatically, adding more makeup while looking in the glass. Alex, no way tonight. Jake is spinning tracks at a venue in the center of town. It's bound to be amazing. Join us. Unwind a bit. I paused. Night spots weren't for me. The throngs of people, the loud sounds. It exhausted me following a tough workday. But beyond that, I disliked how intimate she appeared to be becoming with Jake. I had noticed notifications from him on her device, full of symbols and private humor. I'm simply concerned, I confessed. You two have been quite tight recently. Anything going on? That's when things heated up. She turned quickly, her face showing irritation mixed with arrogance. Concerned? Over what, Alex? That I'm enjoying myself apart from you? Jake is only a pal. He understands me. He embraces existence, unlike staying glued to screens programming. My heart ached, but I remained composed. I'm not attempting to dictate your actions, Sarah. It just seems like we're growing apart. You're away most weekends, and even at home, your attention is on the screen. It leaves me sensing inadequacy. She let out a harsh, belittling chuckle that pierced sharply. Inadequate? Perhaps that's accurate. If my way of living bothers you, then exit. I won't alter myself for anybody. I'm still youthful. I crave adventure, not this dull pattern. Jake asks me along because he understands enjoyment. If envy is eating at you, deal with it yourself. Her statements lingered heavily, like a strike. I remained frozen, shocked, as she snatched her bag and moved toward the exit. No need to stay awake. She flung back with a grin. I'll return much later. I refrained from pleading. I held back from shouting. A switch flipped inside me. Over recent months, I had invested fully in our relationship, foregoing after-work drinks with colleagues to be available for her, rejecting an advancement that required moving since she opposed it. And this was the reward. Treated as an overbearing figure? When the door closed firmly, I remained seated, gazing blankly. The bewilderment struck intensely. Why was I portrayed as the bad one for seeking steadiness? For caring enough to construct something lasting? I reflected on every compromise I made. That planned getaway weekend I scrapped due to her work emergency, only learning afterward she partied with others. How she shared images of her outings on the internet, with captions like embracing my prime, while I sat alone questioning my place in it. Yet on that evening, her statement repeated, "If my lifestyle displeases you, then exit." All right, I would comply. I began gathering items. Systematically, without noise. My attire from the wardrobe, reading materials from racks, personal devices that belonged to me. Her items remained as is. The artworks on walls, the trinkets she accumulated. I even abandoned the common furnishings. No desire for disputes over minor items. By 1 in the morning, my vehicle was full. I jotted a quick message on a notepad and placed it. "You were correct. I don't approve." Thus, I departed. Best wishes. Without theatrics. Without blame. Simply separation. I headed to a friend's home several hours distant. He had mentioned his spare spot was open, and I rested there. Device on mute. For the initial time in ages, amid the pain, I experienced an odd calm. The following day, notifications exploded. Numerous unanswered calls, messages, loads from Sarah. I disregarded them initially, sipping brew and reflecting. The bewilderment persisted. Did I respond excessively? Was I discarding everything? But no. Her statement looped mentally. She had clarified I was replaceable, a fallback for her thrilling existence with Jake. By midday, I answered her persistent ringing. My tone even, hiding the inner turmoil. "Alex? Seriously?" She exploded, mixing surprise with fury. "I arrive at 3, and half the apartment is vacant? Your item's missing, that message? For real?" "Indeed, Sarah." "Absolutely." She stopped, anticipating I'd retreat. "This is absurd. You gathered and vanished over me going out?" Behaving immaturely. Jake and I simply moved to the music, enjoying ourselves. No issue occurred. "You're exaggerating over 0. 0. I repeated calmly. "You've distanced yourself for months. Extended absences, ongoing messages with him, causing me to sense I'm hindering you. You instructed that if displeased, depart." I followed through. Her tone altered, infused with her familiar distorted reasoning. "All right, perhaps I've been aloof. But partnerships have fluctuations. You can't abandon without discussion. Jake is entertaining, sure, but different from you. You're dependable, the return point. Understand? I require both, thrill and reliability. Fidelity is old-fashioned these days. People try things. If insecurity plagues you, handle it. Return, we'll resolve it. I'll reduce outings." The double standard nearly amused me. She desired me as a fallback while pursuing her desires. No remorse, merely defenses. "No, Sarah. It's finished. I merit more than a secondary role." "Secondary? Unjust. You're distorting facts. Jake recognizes life isn't purely grave. He accepts my desire for enjoyment. If care was real, you'd battle for this, not flee cowardly." Her remarks pained, but I resisted. "Farewell, Sarah." I disconnected, restricted contact, ending it. No explosion, no begging. Simply conclusion. Following days merged into mist of injustice. I stayed at friends, gazing upward, reviewing concessions, such as lending funds for creative materials, only for her to spend on a trip with pals, including Jake, discovered later. Or her subtle insulting online shares, like jokes on dull partners that others found amusing, as I acted unaware. It seemed utterly unwarranted. I remained faithful, devoted. What for? Cast aside casually. I avoided confrontation or retaliation. Rather, centered on self. Secured a budget in briefly, then a rental in another town nearby. Shifted roles in firm. No need for advancement, merely new beginning. Began exercising regularly, renewed ties with past contacts. Commenced counseling to dissect the bewilderment. Why tolerated poor treatment so long? Initial quiet was overwhelming, but evolved to insight. I wasn't at fault. Her self-importance was. In parallel, occasional updates via common contacts, unrequested. Sarah reframed events. I became the domineering abandoner. Yet flaws appeared. Jake proved not the platonic pal asserted. They connected physically that evening at the venue, escalating onward. She relocated with him hastily, leaving employment for liberty. But Jake proved erratic, heavy partying, shifting jobs, quick-tempered in reality. Consequences arrived swiftly, without my pursuit. Weeks post-departure, friend Mike contacted. Among few rejecting Sarah's version. You alright, man? He messaged. Chaos here. I stayed short. Fine. Details. Brief conversation. He updated. Sarah committed fully to Jake. That venue night? More than movement. They connected. She flaunted as triumph. Shared enigmatic updates on fresh starts, seizing liberty. But Jake fell short of ideal. Chronic reveler. From peak to peak, prior partners fled validly. Erratic understated. Explosions over trivial, absences prolonged, then charm returned. Initially, Sarah left serving role, believing Jake's network aided her creative path. They settled in his shabby spot central, surviving on tips and her remnants. But truth struck quickly. Jake revealed self. Cutting remarks on commitment queries, exploiting for transport and funds, abandoning for others at events. One evening, worsened. Destroyed items, angrily post-questioning ex-message. She contacted authorities, minimized to contacts. Merely bumpy phase. Her decline accelerated. Unemployed, debts mounted. Common acquaintances withdrew as realities emerged. Sarah emotionally unfaithful months, criticizing me privately to rationalize. Alex too secure, she'd claim. Crave intensity. But Jake unreliable, she grew alone. Updates moved from victorious to subtle pleas, life's challenges. Engagement faded, transparency evident. Learned of lowest point via indirect a month later. Expelled from Jake's amid dispute, labeled overly needy. He proceeded next, her struggling. Stayed with sibling, but conflicted soon. Household issues, mother supportive yet ineffective. Penniless, workless, image ruined. Supporters of her rise now absent, seeing damaged ties. Throughout, I remained aloof. No satisfaction, no profile checks. This phase challenged me similarly. Post-turmoil quiet. Awoke in new rental, empty small space, sensing burden. Bewilderment remained. How overlooked indicators. Excused absences as relief. Her contrasts to Jake's daring, diminishing me. Recall prior holiday. Surprised with tailored stand for creations, from extra hours. She thanked enthusiastically, but soon and used amid outings. Unwarranted entirely. Allowed processing injustice, noting in counseling. Loyalty yours, therapist noted. Hers absent. Her responsibility. Gradually, path changed. Immersed in tasks, succeeded project for increase. Entered outdoor activity club, formed bonds valuing consistency over disorder. Tried light dating, non-committal, affirming not dull, simply reliable. Mental haze lifted. No longer bewildered. Liberated. Sarah's return efforts began mild, intensified to urgency. Unrestricted her post-weeks. Interest perhaps, or finality. Initial messages, month post-exit. Repeated notifications, evenings. Hi Alex, chat? Missed conversations. Admit error. Jake error. Meet. Disregarded. Silence as reply. Then increased calls. One night. Rang during meal prep new home. Voicemail, later heard. Alex, answer. Begging. Jake situation, not expected. Exploited me, discarded. Now appreciate our past. You consistent. Return call. No compassion. Her selection. Week on, intensified. Appeared prior office. Likely from contact. But relocated, futile. Recruited negative circle. Close pal Lisa, perpetual supporter, messaged. Sarah suffering greatly. Act maturely, listen. Like kin. Short response, not concern. Then relatives involved. Mother rang unknown. Answered, assumed professional. Alex? Karen here, Sarah's mother. Speak to her. Destroyed. How disappear post all endured. All endured. Tone level. Instructed depart if lifestyle displeased. Displeased. Departed. Karen grumbled, typical. Immature. Partnerships require effort. Sarah youthful. Aired. Jake worthless, but you reliable. Return, mend. Sibling tired of hosting. Sarah requires you. Near disconnect, but resolute. No. Finished. Sarah likely nearby, sees device. Alex, mother correct. Foolish admit. Believed Jake thrilling, but abused verbally. Broke financially. Now see you genuine. Restart. Will adjust. Voice broke, yet manipulative undertone. Justifications, no accountability. Claimed fidelity outdated. Reminded evenly. Hindering you. Savor liberty. Anger surfaced. Essence revealed. Liberty? See outcome. Solitary, you victim acting. Dare restrict, disregard. Self-centered, Alex. Provided, 3 years. Provided. Repeated. You received. Farewell. End. Peak when appeared Mike's. Mention brief, stay accidentally. Knocking late, desperate aura. Mike alerted. Absent, but shared later. Raved. Inform Alex mature. Require him. Collapses fault. None thereafter. Quiet. Temporarily. Advance half year. Constructed firm existence. Advancement professionally, better residence. Encountered newcomer. Emily, visual creator valuing reliability sans ridicule. No turmoil. Pure regard. Attended Mike's ceremony. Modest open air and park distant from prior area. Shared contacts present, some aware Sarah. Attended, matured, non-retaliatory. She arrived unbidden, entering side during festivities. Unkempt, locks disordered, outfit creased, as if direct from struggle. Eyes searched crowd. Fixed on me, enjoying with Emily seated. Alex, shouted, navigating attendees. Attention shifted, murmurs. Arrived, winded. Must converse. Immediately. Rose, composed. Emily beside, confused yet backing. Sarah. Inappropriate timing. Glance to Emily. Return. Urgency evident. Who is that? Irrelevant. Alex, begging. Regret all. Jake destroyed me. Counseling now, self-improvement. Forfeited contacts, employment. But us. Solid. Recall. Another opportunity. Attendees watched. Mike glanced worried distant. Yet emotionless. No compassion, rage. Mere apathy. Sarah, stated resolutely, tone firm. Irrelevant months. Constructed existence, sans turmoil. Instructed depart if displeased. Did, flourishing. Emily integral. Pursue your path. Mine excludes you. Stunned, double standard evident. Flourishing? Her? Mere substitute for vengeance. Merit superior to dismissal. No. Responded. Reversal apparent. Her urgent, me strengthened. Merit your selection. Farewell. Departed angrily, low curses, as others commented audacity. Afterward, Mike shared privately. At lowest, temporary stays, seeking work. Your contentment? Shattered her. For me, finality. Departing ceremony, linked with Emily, sensed liberated. Sarah relic past. Dismissed, ineffective. Disappeared from her realm, erected enduring in mine. Thanks for viewing. Remember subscribe and like. Opinions on this tale? Comment below.